Three words that change everything in the camera world. FCC. Approved. On July the 3rd, 2026, the Insta360 X6 received its FCC certification. Full grant, no pending review. And then, in what can only be described as the camera industry's most useful accident of the year, Insta360 briefly published the X6's official user manual on their own website before the announcement was made. Not a leak from a factory floor. The actual, official, Insta360 authored documentation describing exactly what this camera does and how it works. So let's talk about it properly. Let's be clear about what we're working from, because the sourcing situation here is genuinely different from a standard rumor video. The FCC certification granted July 3rd is public record. Anyone can look it up. The accidentally published user manual came directly from Insta360's own servers before being pulled. Roland Quant's hardware leaks have a documented track record of accuracy on final production specifications. When you layer these three sources together, you're not reading tea leaves. You're reading the camera. Here's what the Insta360 X6 actually is. The sensor upgrade is the first thing worth understanding clearly. The X5 used 1/1.28-inch sensors, already competitive. The X6 steps up to dual 1/1.1-inch sensors, and that difference in physical light gathering area matters more than the fractional numbers suggest. Larger sensors mean more light per pixel, better dynamic range in mixed lighting, and cleaner shadow recovery. The things that separate genuinely useful low-light footage from technically captured but unusable footage. Those bigger sensors feed a significantly improved pipeline, 8K video at 50 frames per second, up from the X5's 8K 30 ceiling. That's not a minor increment. 50 frames per second at 8K means noticeably smoother motion in 360-degree video, particularly in action and travel content where subjects and camera move simultaneously. The community has been asking for this exact upgrade for 2 generations. Photos climb to 42 megapixels per lens, combining to 120 megapixel 360-degree stills, a meaningful jump for creators who use 360-degree cameras for real estate, architecture, and experiential photography, where resolution genuinely matters. 10-bit color depth arrives with Dolby Vision support, iLog, and the new Adaptive Tone 2.0, Insta360's AI-driven color processing system that makes high dynamic range scenes render more naturally without manual intervention. For creators who shoot everything and grade later, this is the software equivalent of a sensor upgrade. The charging story, confirmed directly in the official manual, is the spec nobody saw coming. 22 minutes to 80%, 33 minutes to full. PD 3.0 PPS fast charging with a 10-volt 4-amp charger. The 2,600 mAh battery is larger than the X5's, yet charges faster, a combination that typically doesn't happen without serious engineering investment. The multifunction hub charges 2 batteries simultaneously. The X6 can reverse charge phones via USB-C. Maximum recording time up to 233 minutes on a single charge. The body itself is more compact than the X5, approximately 10 by 5 by 4 centimeters, 195 grams, 5 grams lighter despite the larger sensors and battery. A large front OLED touchscreen peaks at 1,200 nits, genuinely usable in direct sunlight, which has been a real limitation on previous 360 cameras. New battery release mechanism, simplified controls, better weight distribution for extended selfie stick use. Let's talk honestly about where the X6 genuinely leads, not just on paper, but in the way creators actually use this kind of camera. The charging architecture is the most underrated strength in this entire spec sheet. 22 minutes to 80% sounds like a bullet point. In the field, it's a complete change in how you manage a shoot. For 360-degree camera creators who deal with higher data volumes, faster battery drain at top resolution, and often unpredictable outdoor schedules, the old reality was, charge overnight, hope it lasts. The new reality is, pull over, plug in during lunch, fully charged before the afternoon shoot starts. That's not a spec. That's a workflow transformation. The 8K 50 frames per second upgrade matters most in a context that doesn't always make spec sheets. temporal smoothness in 360-degree video. When a viewer uses a headset or drags a 360-degree video around on their phone, motion at 30 frames per second can feel slightly stuttery in the peripheral vision, a subtle discomfort that accumulates over a long video. At 50 frames per second, that smoothness problem largely disappears. It's the difference between footage that people watch once and footage people actually stay inside. The software side deserves equal attention. Insta360 has always held a meaningful ecosystem advantage over DJI. Not just in the camera itself, but in pure video low-light processing, editing integration, and the tools that turn raw 360-degree footage into finished content. Adaptive Tone 2.0 represents the next chapter in that advantage. Smarter automatic HDR processing that reduces the gap between what a good editor can coax out of the footage and what the camera delivers straight from the card. For solo creators without extensive post-production time, that's the difference between good enough and actually good. And the 1200 nit OLED screen quietly solves one of the most genuinely frustrating daily use limitations of previous X-series cameras. Trying to frame or review 360-degree footage in bright outdoor light on a dim screen isn't just inconvenient. It's one of those frictions that makes a camera feel less professional regardless of what the sensor is doing. Solving it without increasing the body size or weight is an impressive piece of industrial engineering. Let's talk about where the X6 sits relative to everything else in this space right now. The DJI Osmo 360 remains the most significant direct competitor, and it's genuinely excellent. Its 1-inch square sensor design delivers impressive dynamic range. Its February 2026 firmware update added meaningful capabilities, and DJI's ecosystem integration for users, already in the DJI world, is real. The Osmo 360 isn't going anywhere, but the X6 addresses the areas where the Osmo 360 has consistently lagged: software depth, 360-degree video frame rates, low-light processing finesse, and charging practicality. The Osmo 360 charges at standard speeds with standard accessories. The X6 charges to 80% in 22 minutes. For a working creator, that gap doesn't show up in a spec table. It shows up every single day. GoPro's Max 2 rounds out the three-way conversation, but positions itself more toward action camera users crossing over into 360-degree territory rather than dedicated 360-degree creators. The Max 2 doesn't really compete on the dimensions where the X6 and Osmo 360 are fighting. There's also the broader legal context worth noting. DJI and Insta360 are currently involved in active patent litigation that spilled directly into this product category. The DJI versus Insta360 lawsuit, filed around the Lunar Ultra launch in June 2026, covers gimbal camera design patents, not directly the 360-degree camera line, but it signals how seriously DJI views Insta360's growing competitive threat, and the X6's imminent arrival will only intensify that dynamic. This is where the X6 story gets genuinely simple, because the data here is unusually clear. FCC certification, July 3, 2026. Looking at the X4 and X5's historical patterns, both announced approximately 6 to 10 weeks after their respective FCC certifications, the launch window points directly toward late August to mid-September 2026. That's weeks away, not months. US and global availability are expected simultaneously at launch, with no regional delay based on current sourcing. On pricing, the base X6 is expected at approximately €689, translating to roughly $749 to $799 at current rates. The Essentials bundle steps up to approximately €789. That's a meaningful increase over the X5's launch pricing, but it comes with genuinely larger sensors, a substantially improved charging system, and 8K 50 frames per second capability that the X5 couldn't offer. For anyone considering grey market units, they may surface slightly earlier through certain channels, but given the FCC clearance is fully in place and the official launch window is this close, waiting for official stock and warranty is the straightforward advice. The Insta360 X6 is not a rumor anymore. It's a camera with approved FCC certification, an accidentally published user manual, verified hardware specs from one of the industry's most reliable leakers, and a launch window measured in weeks. The only thing missing is the press release, and based on historical patterns, that's coming before summer ends. What the X6 will deliver isn't a revolution. Insta360 didn't need one. The X5 was already excellent, and the community knew exactly what it wanted next. Better sensors for low light, faster frame rates for smooth 360-degree motion, and charging that didn't make long shooting days a battery management exercise. The X6 answers all three, cleanly, without padding the spec sheet with features nobody asked for. It's here, almost officially. Subscribe, because the actual announcement is coming any day now, and you'll want to be exactly here when it does. Thanks for watching.